Hello everyone and welcome to Silverstone for round 8 of the 4th season of the PRL iRacing Sunday series. I'm of course Justin, and today we're going to be racing 27 laps of the classic Grand Prix layout here at Silverstone. So this is the classic version. It's got Abbey, Bridge, Priory, all that good stuff. This was my first time racing at this track. Yeah, first time ever racing at this classic track, this classic layout. I know it decently well from seeing it on TV, but honestly, it took me a while before I fully understood exactly what was different. You know, I don't know, for some reason it always kind of eluded me exactly what was changed from the old layout to the new layout, but I do believe I have finally nailed it. Took a long time, but I got there eventually. So I've got the layout up in front of me, so I'll be able to say the corner names, and hopefully this will be a good learning experience for me, because certainly it's one of those tracks where you really need to know the names of the corners. You say turn 7 and people are going to say, what the hell are you talking about? What's turn 7? I don't know what turn 7 is at Silverstone. Just call it by its name. You know, Brazil Interlagos is another one that's like that. What else is? I think Suzuka as well. It's got, you know, Spoon 130R. It's got actual names. The Degners, Monza as well with the Scari and the Parabolica and all of that stuff. So it's just one of those tracks where you really want to learn the names, or I do anyway, because I'm the one that's doing all the talking. So I want to get there. I want to memorize all this stuff. I've got a map up for this one, so I'm doing a little bit of cheating, but. This is the third to last race of the season, which means there's only 2 more races after this one. I still don't have the championship standings information because, honestly, I'm recording this now actually after Spa has taken place. So actually the season is over as far as this commentary is concerned. It just happened yesterday, in fact. I'm recording this on June 2nd. And there's only 2 more races left in the season. It's going to be Circuit of the Americas after this one, and then Spa after that. 2 tracks that I do enjoy quite a bit. Let me go ahead and pull up qualifying here so you guys can see what's going on with this race. I'm focusing a little bit too much on future races here. So for this race, Loro got pole, my teammate, by 1/1000th of a second from Spencer. Really impressive qualifying there. They were about 2 tenths up on David Wormald. This is David's race. He is a contributor, a donator, and also a one of the lead guys, him and PJ, over at PRL. So this is his race. He chose the track and all that stuff. Certain people get to choose the races. VIR, for example, was Spencer's choice. I don't remember some of the other ones. I didn't choose a race. I didn't donate or anything like that. I'd like to, but as I mentioned before, money's a bit tight at the moment, so not something that I'm currently capable of. But I try to help the league in other ways, certainly by promoting it in these videos, as I'm sure you guys are well familiar with at this point. But moving back to qualifying, a full second off of David, so a full second off the top 3 is Stefan Vesterland in 4th position. Just behind him is Steverson Oliveira by about a second, actually. So it looks like Stefan might be having a pretty boring race. And then it's another second back to James Myers, and then it's 2 tenths back to me. So it's looking right now like it might be a little bit of a spread out race with Loro and Spencer and David fighting over first place, and then Stefan kind of by himself, and Steverson kind of by himself, and then James and I will be left to fight to decide who's going to finish in last position. So yeah, that could prove interesting. So let's go ahead and get started. And Loro is so high up the field you can't even see him. There he is in his blue car. I've gotten a great start, as I have been recently, and I've gotten past James, and I'm having a little look. I've actually gotten past Spencer as well. Spencer had a really terrible start and has dropped all the way down to 6th after his start. It looked like I was having a little bit of look at Esty in the yellow car there, but unfortunately that gap closed, and I think I actually lifted off of that. And we got Stefan and Esty going side by side actually into Maggots Beckett's, and Esty just unfortunately can't hang on to that position. And I've got Spencer right behind me in the slipstream. I can tell you I was running really high downforce for this race, mainly so that I could just keep it on the road. I don't think it's the fastest way But I did think it was the best way for me personally to actually finish this race without totaling my car. So I decided on a high downforce setup, which means I'm going to be struggling on the straights unless I'm right up behind somebody and getting a really nice tow. And you could see through Stowe there, Spencer just flew right by me, even with his less downforce. So clearly Spencer's pace is already very genuine, very real here. So going side by side now through Abbey, coming now towards Bridge, and Spencer's got the inside line. I imagine he's going to take that position no problem. And here comes Priory, and I'm taking a much wider line. Este's hard to the inside there, but actually manages to maintain that gap actually pretty well, surprisingly enough. I seemingly had a much better racing line, but really did not gain much time on him there. So here we are coming out of Luffield and towards the start-finish straight to finish lap 1 and start lap 2. And you can see a little bit of a gap has formed already to James behind, so it looks like he's struggling with the heavy fuel on the opening laps here. And Este as well is pulling a little bit of a gap to myself. Remember, he was, let's take a look at that, he was a solid 1.2 seconds faster than me in qualifying. I don't remember the circumstances for qualifying in this race, unfortunately, but I'm trying to remember now. I think I only got to do 1 lap. Remember, you only get 2 timed laps for the qualifying sessions here in the PRL for the iRacing Sunday Series. Only 2 timed laps. Basically, you start in the pits. I usually start with 2 gallons of fuel. 2 gallons is enough to run 3 laps. You have an out lap where generally, for most of the season, I wasn't doing any sort of tire warming. I wasn't doing any sort of swerving. I wasn't spinning up my rears. I wasn't riding the brakes or anything like that. But later in the season, I started. Oh no! As we've got an incident between David and Lauro, the 2 front runners here, and that is at. Excuse me. I believe that's at Club. Let me just take a look though and move up here. Come on, move. There we go. Okay. So, oh, yeah, there's an incident with Lauro there. He's been sent into the grass, and, yeah, he's just out of control at that point in contact with David. That is 100% Lauro's fault, but at the same time, really nothing he could do. Let's go ahead and take a look at that from a chase point of view and see that again. And, man, you could see the damage to David's car. Lauro's car does not look that bad. And, yes, this is Club, I believe, that they're coming towards right now. This is Vale and then coming towards Club. And, wow, yeah, looks like Lauro got like a snap of oversteer. Look at this. This is a weird one. So he's just driving along, and you can see the back end start to step out ever so slightly as he's braking right there. He's going to let off the brakes. Nope, he doesn't let off the brakes. It just kind of snaps over. He's hard on the brakes now. He knows that he's going off the track. And then he lets off the brakes, actually, because you don't want to brake while you're on the grass, because that's just going to spell trouble. So he lets off the brakes, and then I imagine he's going to get back on the brakes. No, he doesn't, actually. Yeah, so actually, I think Lauro is at fault here, actually, and if I remember correctly, he did apologize at the moment that it happened, certainly, because you know, this is David's choice of race. I'm sure this is where David was hoping to get a win. You know, this is his home track. David is from the UK, so yeah, that's really surprising there. I don't think Lauro thought that David was going to be right alongside him when he rejoined the track, as we see Este go by, followed by me. Sorry, I really do enjoy the slow motion stuff. In case you guys haven't figured that out by now. But I am a huge fan of slow motion. Alright, so that's going to gift me 2 positions. So that's going to move me up from 6th into 4th. So I'm actually just running behind the podium positions at this point. It's not a huge gap up ahead to Este. In fact, it looks like I've closed that gap down a little bit now. So I think my qualifying pace is a little bit misleading. I don't think that's actually what my pace is. Again, I think I underperformed in qualifying starting from last there. So I think I am a little bit faster than qualifying would show, and I think the fact that I'm keeping up with Este here is proof of that. Because remember, Este qualified 1.2 seconds faster than I did. And yet, here we are with him being seemingly unable to pull away from me. So, finishing lap 2 now, starting lap 3. And it seems like I'm closing that gap down even more. Again, though, I'm running pretty high downforce, and he might not be. So I may struggle actually getting past him, but I think in these tight, twisty sections, the S's here, for example, I think I am going to have the advantage on him. And I am pretty close at the moment as we come onto the hanger straight. Pretty close to him. I'm definitely getting a toe, but I don't really seem to be gaining on him, as you can see there. And it's not a big gap up ahead to Stefan as well. Stefan not that far up ahead, ahead of Esty in that black car with the green stripe on the front of it. That green stripe meaning A-class license, by the way. My yellow stripe meaning C-class license, which is a bit embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. Or no, I'm sorry. Green is B-spec. The blue one on Esty's car, that's A-class. Why am I saying spec? I'm all out of it today. Sorry, guys. So yeah, I'm only C-class license, which is pretty embarrassing, honestly, considering I'm a writer for iRacing News. I race in a league in iRacing, stuff like that. So I have been making a bit of an effort as I'm running very close up behind Esty, and I have a little bit of a lockup actually going into Brooklands and now through Luffield. But I've definitely seemed to be closing Esty down here. So this is going to be a solid race for a podium position here. And I'm just looking in the background. Yeah, James has dropped back quite a bit now. So James definitely seems to be struggling with this track. He doesn't seem to be having a good time whatsoever, as he's barely in the shot now. And I've had a great run through Cops there, and I'm going to be looking side by side with Esty going into Maggots here. But actually, that's not a passing location, and I'm sure many of you watching know that that was not an actual attempt at a move. That was more a psychological attack. And we see Esty going very defensive, or not necessarily defensive, but moving over to the left-hand side of the track very aggressively, possibly in an effort to get me as little slipstream as possible. And you can see Esty's got a little bit of a earlier turn-in for Stowe there, and I've got a little bit a later turn-in, which gives me a better exit and a run down towards Club here, down Vale into Club. And using all of the track, you could really go out wide on that curbing there as you're coming out of Club. So you want to be really aggressive on that and just really get on the throttle as early as you can for the long run down through Abbey. Abbey in these cars is 100% flat out, which is funny because I was lifting, maybe even downshifting at first in practice. That's how little I know about this track. And I think it took me about 10 laps of just going faster and faster and faster before I finally realized, holy crap, this is a flat-out corner. I'm an idiot. And I probably gained like 3 or 4 tenths that moment right there. So just went through Luffield. I am very close behind Esty still, and it looks like actually, yeah, there is quite a gap forming up ahead. Stefan is starting to pull away, so if I'm going to... Oh, no, oh, no, oh, no, and I've had a spin at turn 1 at Cops. And I'm going to bring the car back around, and oh gosh, that's too far, Justin. That is way too far. See, I tried to reverse it. Oh gosh, this is embarrassing. Oh gosh, it's very embarrassing. I'm sure some of you will see what I was trying to do there. I was trying to see, when you get into this spin, let me see if I can get a better camera angle. Yeah, so when you get into this type of spin, I already know that I have this backwards momentum, so I'm going to turn the car to the left, and that's going to fling it around, and my hope is that it's just going to do a quick 180 and just start facing the other way, and I can use that momentum to help push me forward. But that didn't happen, and then I got onto the grass. I was like, okay, I'll park it on this asphalt here, but then it just touches the grass and keeps spinning. And then now I am stuck having to actually put the car into reverse. And then look, I didn't reverse it far enough, so that I got to really reverse it. And just super embarrassing as I'm stuck there basically at the pit exit, or the pit exit. And that's dropped me way off Esty now, as you can see, as he's on the hanger straight at the moment. I'm way behind James even as he's coming onto the hanger straight now. And I'm just going through the Maggots-Beckett section here. So that's dropped me back quite a bit. I still have a pretty decent lead to Loro, but that's precious seconds that I needed later in this race in order to stay in front of him. And then let's see where David is. So David has now pit for repairs. So he's even farther back. And actually, I would imagine that the 7-gallon fuel limit on these cars is not going to be enough for David here. and he's probably going to have to pit a second time, which is definitely not good for his race. It looks like Loro may have pitted as well, as there doesn't appear to be any damage to his car. Yeah, he received some damage to the rear of his car, and I'm not seeing that damage anymore. So clearly Loro pit as well, so it's looking like he's going to be doing a two-stop as well. So it looks like things are going to slow down a little bit now after I've dropped behind Esty. But I can tell you, I'm definitely faster than James. So I should have no problem catching up to him. As you can see there, he's just coming out of left field as I'm entering it, so it's not a huge gap to James up ahead. But it is big enough that I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. Let's go ahead and do a chase view. This is almost like we're playing F1 2114. This is probably how fast they'll do Silverstone 100 years from now. Alright, sorry. Didn't expect it would take this long. But here we are. This is lap 9 now. And we have caught up to James up ahead. He hasn't had any problems. We would have seen that in the fast forward. He hasn't had a spin or anything. I've just caught him on pure pace. And look at the very late apex that I'm taking for Luffield here. This is to get the best exit possible, but unfortunately I've messed that up. I did that all wrong. That's like the exact way you don't want to take that corner. That was horrible. So I was taking a really late apex to try and maximize my run towards the start-finish line and try and get as much speed as I can at the exit for the long run down towards Cops. It's probably it's the third longest straight on the track, I would say. So it's pretty important getting a good exit out of Luffield, but at the same time it's a very long corner, so hugging the inside has its benefits as well. In fact, you probably want to hug the inside at the entrance, let it run deep, and then sort of make a V shape, and then just cut it back to get a good entrance. It's probably one of those corners where you want to intentionally run deep, basically. So here we are going through Stowe, where I'm also taking a very late apex, as you can see there, and getting on the power nice and early for the run down through Vale towards Club. Vale, then Club. Vale, then Club. I need to remember that. Stowe Vale Club. SVC. What stands for SVC? Service? Okay, so that's the service part of the track. Stowe Vale Club. And I'm getting a very nice run through Abbey and into Bridge now, and I think I'm running higher downforce than James is, which I think is obvious in the corners here. You can just see how much more planted the car is, and I'm having a little look up the inside. Oh, and I've lost the back end. And here comes Loro. Here comes Loro. Loro's going to take this position. So not only have I failed to take fourth, but I've now lost fifth to my teammate, who is a pit stop down on me. So that's pretty embarrassing, really embarrassing to be honest. This is not a race that's going very well. At this point in the race, though, I should let you guys know that I am having a blast. Even with all these mistakes, even with all the spinning, I am loving this track. I'm loving the high downforce setup at this track. Even though I'm not particularly fast, it's just fun. Every track or every lap you drive in this car is good, solid fun. I really did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun racing at this track. Something I would really want to try again. I really want to take some other cars here. Of course, the Radical's got that downforce, which is really nice here at Silverstone. Downforce is a really nice thing to have at Silverstone. But I would love to try some other cars here, take some other cars out. I'd love to take the Lotus 49 out to this track, actually, because it's such a classic car, such a classic track. I really think I would have a good time there. Brands Hatch as well. I'd really like to take the Lotus 49 to Brands Hatch. Getting a little off topic now. And so we're going into Club now, and again trying to get early on the throttle. And actually, that was not early enough. That was pretty conservative. And I think after spinning twice, that's probably what I'm doing. I'm being conservative. So I've got Loro up ahead. Definitely not going to catch him. He is incredibly fast. Him and Spencer and David really are in a class of their own for this race. They are once again the untouchables at this track, as was the case at other tracks. So three very quick guys. You know, some of you guys might watch these and think that the competition at PRL isn't very high, or the skill level isn't very high. Well, I would challenge any one of you to beat Loro in a race in iRacing where he has proper time to find a setup and stuff like that. He's really, really good with making setups. He's very good at the technical side of things, which I am not good at. I would like to be, because really I'm not that fast. I'm not Loro fast. You know, I'm not Alex Gillen fast. I'm not, and I know I compare myself to him a lot, but that's just kind of because he is the standard to me. As far as consistency and speed and stuff like that, and not just in F1, but in iRacing as well. He's proven to be exceedingly quick with really not much practice in iRacing. So I'm not that fast. So the technical side of things is a portion of iRacing where I could help myself quite a bit to find those valuable tenths or even full seconds. So it's something that I'm really focused on at the moment. I'm really trying to learn as much as I can about setting up the cars in iRacing. Each car is different. You know, you do have to do different things for different cars and stuff like that. Not just as far as the car being different, but actually the setup itself is different. Different cars have different levels of setup. You know, some have traction control, some have specific gear sets. Like this car only has 3 sets of gears: short, medium, and long. That's it. And really, you only use short and medium. At least at the tracks that we raced this season. So it's not very technical in this car as far as like gears go, for example. And other cars aren't very technical as far as downforce goes, because they don't have any and stuff like that. So it's different from cars to cars, and it's a relatively easy way for me to get faster. So it's definitely a little bit of a focus of mine. As we can see on the ticker up ahead, that Loro has managed to get by James. So let's go ahead and see where James is. So James is on the hangar straight, just went under the bridge, and I'm just coming onto the hangar straight. So this is lap 13 of 27. This is about the halfway point, pretty close to it anyway. And I am definitely closing James down. And I'm sorry, let me go back to Chase and let me fast forward again, since this race did get a little bit boring. This is a big track. Oh, as James has had a spin. Yep, James has had a spin, and that's at Priory. And you don't get much grip through Priory. It's really weird. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. It's a third gear corner, at least it was for me. Look, I mean, he's going 90 miles an hour, so he should be getting decent amounts of downforce, but you don't. You just don't get downforce at Priory. You don't get grip. I don't understand what it is about that corner. Or maybe it's this car. I don't fully understand, but it's extremely easy to spin there. And again, I think I have actually more downforce than James does. But yeah, you can see, just start spinning. Nothing you can do about it. Not surprising at all. Yeah, you can see right there, I was only going 80 through that corner because I am terrified of that corner. I spun there so much in practice that it literally scared me into going 70 miles an hour through it. So, yeah, I'm just being extra cautious through that corner. Right about now, I can tell you, I was super bummed about James spinning. Because I had the pace on him, and I was looking like I could catch him on track, and I really just wanted to pass somebody on track, because I just really wanted to. That's way more fun rather than having someone spin in front of you. So I was really hoping that I would be able to catch him and then make a legit pass on him, especially since I failed the pass on him previously at Brooklands. I failed that pass miserably, and, you know, I really wanted a second try. I really wanted a second shot at passing James. Also, really lucky that I didn't hit James in Brooklands there. really lucky that I didn't hit him, because that was quite a moment. And I'm really glad I didn't like take him out or cause some damage to his car or something like that, because that would have really sucked. But thankfully nothing like that happened. So once again, we find ourselves in a pretty boring position here. James has pit for his compulsory pit stop, actually. I'm not sure if he just didn't fill the car up 100% with fuel, but I'm pretty sure you could do 15, 16, 17, 18 laps with the 7 gallons of fuel if you fill the car up at the start of the race. The strategy with these races is generally to fill the car up as much as you can at the start of the race, just so that when you pit, it shortens your pit stop, because your pit stop time is heavily dependent on how much fuel you're putting in the car. We're not changing tires. We don't change tires in these races because the tires hold up really well. These aren't Pirellis we're running, so the tires hold up really, really well, and no need to change onto them. It's just gonna cause you to come out of the pits on cold tires, and you're gonna lose a whole bunch of time. You might get you might be a couple tenths faster later on after the tires have warmed up, but we're talking a solid 2, 3, 4 laps just to warm the tires up to the optimal range. You know, certainly they're warmer after 1 lap, 2 laps, stuff like that, but they really don't hit optimal until 3 or 4 laps, which is part of the reason that the 2-lap qualifying is so challenging this season. So, yeah, you really don't want to put tires. You don't want to change tires when you pit. It's just fuel, which means literally your entire pit stop depends on how much fuel you're putting in the car. So the best thing to do, because you don't need, it's 7 gallons that you can carry in the tank, and none of the races require 14 gallons. Most of the races are 11 or 12 gallons of fuel. Which means that you want to start the race with about 7 gallons of fuel, and then you want to be pitting for an additional 4 or 5 gallons of fuel. If you start the race with 4 or 5 gallons of fuel and then pit for 7 gallons of fuel, that will mean that you're in the pits for longer. It will also mean that when your tires are all optimal and up to temperature, you're going to have 7 gallons of fuel in the car, and you're going to be super slow. Or not, you know, not super slow, but you're going to be slow on the slower side. And this is a competitive league. Oh, that was interesting. We've had an issue with Spencer here now. Let's see what's going on. Is he being lapped? I don't believe so. Lauro's in 4th. Spencer's in 2nd. What's going on here? Ah, okay. I see now. Did he have any other incidents? Sorry, I'm just rewinding it way too much. And, oh, what was that? What was that? Oh no, what has happened to Lauro here? Oh man, so Lauro is running in 4th at the moment. I believe he's made his 2nd pit stop at this point, possibly, because this is actually Spencer in the process of lapping Lauro. He's already lapped me, so that's pretty impressive. We're only on lap 17. This says he's on lap 17 too, though. I'm super confused at this point about what exactly is going on. But that's okay. So this is what happened with Lauro. And same corner, actually. Lauro seems to be really struggling with the entrance into club here. Just really seems to be struggling with that corner. And he does contact with the barrier. The right side of his car has contacted the barrier. And it's, yep, it's looking like he's got some damage, as I can see him doing some counter steering and stuff like that. So Spencer does lap Lauro, who's running around in 4th position and who has now damaged his car, which is actually good news for me, because I'm not that far behind at this point, and he's got some pretty serious damage. If he hasn't pit a 2nd time, he definitely will be now. And look at that, Spencer with an identical spin. An identical spin to James, the exact same spin. And look, he takes out that sign in pure anger. Screw you, sign. I don't like your face. Take that. I don't like the cut of your jib. So yeah, and then here's Spencer actually letting Lauro by, and then reversing, and then letting me by. This is very strange indeed. As I dive into the pits, and Spencer has lost the lead. He's now in 3rd. Boy, I have no clue what is going on in this race at the moment. Hold on. Okay, so Spencer made his compulsory pit stop from the lead. That's what happened here. Wait, right? Yep, okay. Okay, yep. Spencer made his compulsory pit stop from the lead. And then he has his incident. He has his spin. And he loses the lead to Lauro, who has not made his 2nd pit stop yet. And then he lets me by, but I'm pitting for my 1 and only pit stop. And it looks like Lauro is pitting for his 2nd time. Okay, so Lauro's pitting his 2nd time. So it says Spencer is in 3rd, but he's actually in 2nd at this point, and Stefan is in 1st. So right now it's Stefan in the lead, followed by Spencer, followed by Lauro, followed by me. So I'm actually running in 4th at the moment, but there goes Esty. Okay, yep, Esty, I believe, has already made his pit stop. He's been pitting earlier than me most of this season. I don't know if he's starting with less fuel or if he's just trying to undercut me or something like that. But he does seem to pit earlier than me. Now this is really bad news for Loro, because Loro has already used his quick repair. You get one quick repair, you have to pull in the pits. I thought there was a quick repair button. Thankfully everyone sorted me out in the comments. I do appreciate that. There is a quick repair, so when he pits for the first time, it will repair his car to full instantly. But he's already used that, so now he has to sit in the pits and wait for his car to be repaired, which is probably going to take a very long time. So at the moment now, it is Stefan in the lead, Spencer in second, Esty in third, David in fourth, and myself in fifth. And James is in sixth at the moment. And I know it says seventh, but I believe James is in sixth. So I'm going to assume that James pit. I believe I passed him in the pits. No, I passed him when he spun. And I believe he pit after that. Yep, he sure did. He spun then pit. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm a little bit off of it. Off my game today. Sorry, I do apologize. Sorry about that. So off my game that I'm Canadian now. So yeah, there's the confirmation. Spencer is in second. Last lap was a 1:35. Stefan just pit last lap, so his last lap was a 2:07. And he's coming out of Beckett's, or Maggots right now. I'm sorry, Maggots. Or no, I was right, Beckett's. He's coming out of Beckett's. And so is Spencer, actually, so he's not far behind. So Spencer is going to be challenging Stefan in the closing laps here. This is lap 19 of 27, so there are only 8 laps remaining after this lap is completed. And Loro's still in the pits, really unfortunate. So it looks like I'm actually going to be, as I pass David. Oh, right, David is pitting for his second pit stop. And I have lapped Loro now, so that's how poor Loro's race is going. Really unfortunate there. So I am now running in 4th position, but I'm going to have a very quick David Wormold behind me. Very, very quick David Wormold behind me. And he's going to be looking to make up as many positions as he can, no doubt, as he's had a tough race. So let's actually, and James has gotten by him, so I do have a buffer between myself and David, as Loro's coming out of the pits now with that damage, so he is elected to not do the optional repairs. He's only done the required repairs, and we'll see how well that works out for him. Okay, let's go ahead and let's go on board with... This is a tough one. I guess let's go on board with me. Yeah. Sorry, this is a hard part of the race to figure out who to spectate, as things have settled down a little bit. Okay, yeah, let's follow on board with David. This is David's race, so let's fast forward until he catches James, because I have a feeling he is going to catch James very quickly. He should be a few... Yeah, look at that. Last lap a 1:33. Last lap from James a 1:37. So he is 4 seconds a lap faster than James. And this is a man on a mission right here. He definitely wants to catch up and not only pass James, but he's going to want to pass me for sure. I think Esty, he knows Esty is out of reach. There's no way that he's going to be able to reach a Steverson. But he definitely can catch James, and he might even be able to catch me by the end of this race. So let's just stay on board with him. I'm going to move this up to 8x now, and you can see he's getting very close now to James up ahead in the Black Radical, going through. Okay, we're going to bring it here. So we're going through Brooklands here, and then through Luffield. We're going to come onto the start-finish straight, and you can see James defending. He's holding that inside line, but he's drifting out wide. He's gotten on the gas a little bit early, possibly, for that, and then had to lift again. And David is right up behind him, and he's going to look to the inside now as they nearly hit each other. Very close racing between the two of them. And David brakes much later for cops than James, and wow, that was really easy for David, actually. Good move, though. Textbook move. And good job from James not to hit him or cause any contact or anything like that. Good racing, as always, in PRL. Any incidents you guys see here are purely accidental, as are most incidents in most leagues, obviously. You know, it can be tough being a clean racer, trying to overtake someone. I've had incidents, you know, it's always accidental. I think the real difference, though, is knowing whether or not you really should go for something. You know, there's a certain moments where you're like, should I go for this? No, but I'm going to anyway. You know, that's obviously a bit naughty. Oh, as David has had a spin. Oh, my God, David. Oh, and at the same location, it just seems that that entrance into club is a place where people are struggling quite a bit. It is a difficult corner, but I really didn't have many problems with it in the race. I don't think any problems, actually. So let's go ahead and watch how I take this corner, as I'm looking pretty good for 4th position now. So I take quite a bit of curb, and then I take a late apex, as you'll notice I do for a lot of corners at this track, and that's to get a good exit. I don't think I have a driving style that's like anybody else at PRL. I don't really have a driving style like many people. I tend to be gentle on the wheel, small inputs. You know, you can do big things with small inputs on a racing wheel. And that's something I learned pretty early on. I would say Gran Turismo days is when I learned to be gentle with the inputs. You know, it's not about how hard you turn the wheel. That's never won a race just because you turn the wheel really quickly. That's never won the race. Certainly there are instances where you have to, like if you have to avoid some incident or something like that. But there are very few times where jerking your wheel violently is gonna help you gain lap time. And even through this Maggots-Beckett section, I would have to agree. If you watch my steering wheel inputs through this section, you know, they're fairly quick, but they're nothing extremely violent. And of course, this is not an F1 car, so you can't be super violent with the inputs. You can see I'm not even turning all the way 90 degrees. Look at that, that's just a 45-degree turn. And then, yeah, the very close of it is where I use the most steering angle. And I tend to straighten up the wheel pretty early as well, earlier than a lot of other people might. So that's just a little insight into my driving style. You know, I know a lot of you guys that watch this channel are racers, some of whom are a lot faster than I am even, but I know some of you might not be. You might not be sim racers, you might not be real life racers, you might just be racing fans, and you don't get the opportunity to do any sort of racing on your own. So I hope that provides a little bit of insight into my type of driving, as we have a little bit of a lull. Obviously, this is now lap 25, actually. I'm going to start fast forwarding, and we'll go ahead and just finish this up. Not even at 40 minutes for this recording, and looking like we're nearing the end. Quite a bit of fast forwarding in this one. And David's actually not too far behind. Yeah, David is catching me with the damaged car. Good golly, David, you are just relentless. Oh, wait, is he, though? Let's see. He's here. I'm here. Nope. This is the last lap. He ain't catching me. That's not going to happen. But he did catch it past James again. Oh, man, poor James. This is just not a race for James at all. James has had some really good pace at points in the season, and I'm hoping he's going to race next year in the Mustang. I think he's had some complaints about the Mustang already, though, so he might race it, but while complaining the whole time, possibly. But I hope to see him again next season, certainly. I hope to see everybody next season, honestly, and I hope to see some people back as well. Hopefully PJ will be back. PJ didn't race. That's the end of the race, by the way. Pretty non-eventful, I know. Let's take a look and see how it looked in the end. So yeah, Stefan did win from Spencer. Fantastic result from Stefan there, who I believe just had a really clean race. Also, there was an incident with Loro or Esty. I can't remember who it was. Loro or Esty. I think Esty was driving along and a wasp flew into his face. No, it was like a spider. There was a spider that landed on his wheel or something like that. So something really strange happened with Esty. Was it Loro? I want to say it was Loro now. I think it was Loro. I think that's why Loro had all these issues. One of these issues where Loro had his crash, one of those crashes I think was actually caused by an insect, a very large insect that interfered with Loro, and that caused an accident. So I think that explains his poor performance. In the end, I do get 4th though, which is some nice solid points. And actually, I ended up beating 2 of the people that were in the top 3. The only person from the top 3 who didn't beat me was Spencer. So really not a good race for any of the people who qualified in the top 3. Because even Spencer didn't actually win the race. I mean, he just you know, he managed to hang on to 2nd after his issues. So really tough race for the people who started from the front and looked so strong. And you can see here, obviously, I'm pretty happy with this 4th place finish after starting from last on the grid and having those 2 spins and then not being able to reverse myself. Oh man, it was a pretty embarrassing race, and in the end I actually came home in 4th ahead of David and Lauro, so I was quite happy with myself, as you can see as I'm doing these donuts in front of Spencer and Stefan after they finished 1st and 2nd. So a little bit of a boring race at times, but again, as I mentioned earlier, I had a great time during this race. This was really, really fun, and I even said that on the forums after the race. I was like, man, guys, that was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed that, even though it wasn't a great performance from myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. That is going to do it for this episode. As always, at the end of the video, there will be a link to the unedited race from cockpit view if you're looking for that sort of thing. So join me next time where we'll be racing at my home track at the Circuit of the Americas for the first ever race at COTA for the PRL League. It should be interesting, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.